Hello and welcome back to Crypto Saving Experts, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and take a look at the markets so that we all know exactly what is happening. We have a new guest on today's stream. This is Spud from Crypto Saving Expert. He's been working with Crypto Saving Expert for a year and a half, 2 years maybe at this point.
Yeah, coming up to 2 years now.
Behind the scenes working on all stuff crypto, making brilliant partnerships with lots of different people and doing lots of different things to make Crypto Saving Expert a success. If you are a Crypto Saving Expert Plus member, you will have heard and spoken to Spud a lot in the Discord, in those AMAs that we have every single week. So if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Welcome Spud in the live chat, and let's get some questions rolling for today. Ask him any question you'd like about cryptocurrency, and we'll try and answer them at the end of today's stream. Let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin quickly. Bitcoin is sat at $37,500, up 2% within the last 24 hours. And Ethereum is up nicely as well, up 3.5%. Monkey Nut says in the chat, morning, Jess. Hi, chat. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, please don't forget to like. Welcome, Spud, and let's get into the cryptocurrency news. What do you think about Bitcoin right now? It's pretty interesting. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, thanks, GM, everyone. Thanks, Jess, for the amazing introduction there. Obviously, yeah, Bitcoin, I'm a little bit surprised, actually, how well it stood up. And I think also, I think we're going to talk about Ethereum, but that really surprised me as well. We see a lot of FUD at the moment, and everyone seems to be putting on their blinkers and looking for the end goal, which is, Bitcoin back at all-time highs. But I'm surprised with everything going on right now that we are seeing this price action. I got stopped out on a few of my shorts. I don't normally go short, but I think serves me right there, Jess.
I'm not a shorter at all. Sitting in a short makes me so nervous, and that makes me like emotional trade all of the time. So I just refuse to do it at this point in the markets. I was tempted at this point here. I think we've hit this resistance. This zone here, these two blue lines at the top. This zone that we've got is from the weekly chart and from the previous bull market. If we stretch this out, so those blue lines there, you can see that's like a zone that's been used as a level of resistance and support for the last couple of years. So when we hit that back here, I was quite tempted to go short, but I just thought it's not worth it. And then I was kind of kicking myself, but at the same time, it's a short position. I don't want to be in that anyway. And then I managed to go long down here. So that was quite a nice trade. But now we're back in that zone, and I am very cautious of being in this zone. Although things are looking up, things are positive, and we've got some really positive news to discuss today. It's a very strong level of resistance. If we break through it, brilliant. But will we do that right now? I don't know. I think it's questionable. Let's take a look at what's going on in the news there. We've got Bitcoin ETFs to discuss. We've got CZ to discuss and what's happening with Binance. We're going to talk a bit about regulation and lots of other stuff. And we'll be talking about why Bitcoin pumped yesterday, because Bitcoin had a massive rally, unexpected. And I was in a big trade then for Bitcoin. So I was very happy to see that news coming in yesterday. Let's take a look at the first article here. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Jason Smith says, good evening from Australia. The Humbled One is also from Australia. Thank you very much to all our Australian viewers. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. By now, we all know what's going on with Grayscale. GBTC is a Bitcoin trust that they are trying to transfer into a spot Bitcoin ETF. They've not had so much luck so far, but they have actually had their executives meet with the SEC to discuss the rule change, allowing the conversion from GBTC to a spot Bitcoin ETF. And we are now seeing they have updated their Bitcoin ETF prospectus days after these talks with the US SEC. So things look like they are starting to be in motion. Now we do know we're looking at a deadline for the SEC to either deny or accept these in March. We've got another deadline in January, but they can delay that. I personally think they're going to delay that. What do you think?
It's inevitable, isn't it? I think, we've had a lot of talk about it, and it's kind of almost like the boy who cried wolf at this point. I think, it's priced in. I think that's why we're seeing Bitcoin be so resilient now. Everyone's just waiting for it to happen. I think, even off stream, Jess, I said to you, didn't I? I said, I find it difficult to pay attention to the ETF news now, because it's just been dragged out for so long. And to a lot of us, it does seem inevitable now. You've even had the commissioner, Hester Peirce, say that there's no reason to block the ETF. and actually, getting a nudge from the court. So I'm just excited to see where it will go from here. It's for me, it's not an if, it's a when.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. If not when, not if. But what we are seeing here is there's just so much speculation about this. Lots of people are trying to front run it, and we are just waiting for the main event to happen. Now, a lot of people are speculating that it could be occurring in January. I do think we will see simultaneous acceptance of all these ETFs. I don't think one will go before the other. We are seeing a lot of talks about how they could change Bitcoin. I did raise the question to Miss Team Crypto when we had her on the show on Tuesday. What is this, a buy the rumor, sell the news event? That is possible. We've seen a lot of movements to the upside of the rumor. I personally, I would like to say I don't think it's the case, because when we had the fake news from Cointelegraph that the ETFs had been accepted, we did move to the upside. So that kind of gave us a little bit of confirmation that that's not the case, but it is still possible. What do you think?
It's definitely possible. I guess we didn't have enough time for it to run either when the fake news came out. I think within an hour or two, it was people were questioning it, and then it came out as fake news. Shout out to the intern there. But I think it's a difficult one. I see it being positive. Right now, we have, I believe, a 11% discount on GBTC. In the past, we've had as much as 80% discount. So I'm fairly confident there.
All the analysts are pointing towards ETF coming very, very soon, and positive analysis from this. But then we've also got some analysts from the likes of JP Morgan, I think it is. They've put out some pretty negative stories about this, concerns that it's not going to be positive at all. If you look at how gold responded to a ETF, it was very, very positive in the long term. I think an ETF is very, very positive. I've spoken about this many, many times before, but I think the barrier to entry just kind of disperses when we have an ETF. There's so many people that want to get into crypto, but are so scared of centralized exchanges, so scared of just learning what it is, but they have they're absolutely fine just buying a stock. So if they can just invest in an ETF, that barrier to entry is removed. And I think that's a really exciting opportunity.
You've hit the nail on the head there. It brings it in front of people that otherwise wouldn't have looked that way. It just opens up the market completely, and puts more confidence in general and into the next generation. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, hopefully it does come. I know a lot of people in crypto are against these ETFs as well, because it goes against what a lot of people stand for. But I'm just looking for adoption. I'm looking for positivity. They're coming. We knew they were going to come. We knew the institutions weren't going to let us play around with these things forever. They were going to come in and try and get involved if they realized that it was not going away. So it was bound to happen at some point. Let's move on to the next story here. So we have seen from the SEC's commissioner, one of the commissioners, saying that she doesn't understand why the SEC should block spot Bitcoin ETFs. Now, she has been saying this for years, apparently, so this isn't really new news. There was a video going around on Twitter of her saying this, but that was basically all she said. It wasn't new news. She has had this stance for a while, even though the SEC have rejected spot Bitcoin ETFs before. So her opinion is not what we should take as fact and what the SEC is going to do, because they have rejected Grayscale's applications before. But it's still a positive thing. Seeing more and more of the SEC commissioners saying, look, I think that we need spot Bitcoin ETFs is a brilliant thing, because they're the ones basically making the decisions at the end of the day. And they shouldn't really be making the decisions. No. They should be following the rules, but we don't have the rules, or they just like to bend the rules to make it fit. And that is the problems we've seen. We've already seen the SEC lose a lawsuit against Grayscale because they falsely rejected an ETF from Grayscale. So hopefully we do see a change in these things and we see some positivity coming this way. Now, I do want to talk about regulation quickly here, because we've seen this news and this discussion about how the SEC falsely rejected Grayscale's application the first time with their spot Bitcoin ETF applications. We've also seen problems with Ripple. Ripple have been in a lawsuit with the SEC since 2020, I think it may have been. Since then, they have won a battle in court where on 3 of 4 instances, the courts determined that Ripple and XRP is not a security. But we are still seeing the lack of guidelines around digital assets in the US. Now, The Ripple CLO is optimistic following Binance's settlement lambasts SEC's juvenile behavior. So we are seeing more discussions here about regulation. We've got 2 articles here today. Coinbase champions regulatory compliance amid Binance woes, call for clearer US regulations. Now, I'm going to do a quick brief overview of this, and then I'll get your opinions on this. So Coinbase have been trying to get regulated massively in the US for a number of years now. When it comes to to listing assets on the exchange, there's no clear guidelines in the US to determine whether these assets are securities or commodities. If they're securities, the exchanges should not be listing them. And if they're commodities, they are allowed to. But when there's no clear guidelines to determine whether those assets are securities or commodities, it's very, very difficult for the exchanges. Now, the exchanges in the US have really struggled with that. They've come out and tried to get regulation. They've not got that regulation. And Coinbase, instead of just saying, do you know what, we're moving offshore, it's not clear here, it's not working, they said, we're going to make these clear guidelines. We're going to give these to the SEC. If the SEC have a problem with them, they can let us know. If not, they know that this is how we're operating. That happened before Coinbase's IPO. Coinbase have, from the surface level, tried to be really open and transparent with how they're trying to operate in the US and trying to follow the guidelines that the SEC just seem to not be able to provide. Now, there has been massive problems with that, and we are seeing Coinbase try and petition for more clarity on the regulation in the US, but it just does not seem to be coming. And I personally think over time, this is just going to push more and more companies offshore until the US get that act together and the SEC creates some clear guidelines. But what do you think about regulation in the US? Because it is an absolute nightmare to kind of navigate for these companies.
It's super difficult. I've just put a question to the chat there as well. Coinbase versus Binance, who wins, guys? Let me know in the chat. But it's an important market, so you can see why the big dogs are trying to stay put as much as they can. It looks like Binance will really suffer after this with the American market. But Brian Armstrong with Coinbase is super confident at staying put in the US and is working with regulators and the likes. For me personally, I stay clear of the American market. We've got lots of traders in our community from America, and I know they really struggle at the moment. And I'm not sure if it's productive for the American government. I think what you see with the Asian markets is they've kind of allowed the lack of regulation for a little bit. And I think what you'll see is in 10 years time, perhaps 5 years time in Asia, then they're going to come in with the regulation. They're letting these platforms build. I think they realize that, okay, yeah, we'll let them go on for 5-10 years, amass billions and billions. Perhaps the US has done it a little bit too soon, in my opinion, but perhaps this is actually the more stable way of doing things. Perhaps we will see a big turnover in 5-10 years time in the Asian markets when they do clamp down on regulation in a roundabout way. So.
And I think that is what we want to see is innovation and growth. And I think because of that kind of lack of regulation in the Asian markets, that's where we can really see them kind of leading this bull market. But I also do think, contrary to popular belief, that regulation is important for the space. We're all here saying we want regulation. The regulators should have caught FTX. We want regulation around stablecoins. We're not completely against regulation in the space. Well, at least I'm not anyway. I think it is important. We all want to know that when USD and Tether say that our USDT is backed by $1, it's actually backed by $1. We all want to know that when we put our money into a centralized exchange, they're not just taking it and gambling it like FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. We all want that kind of regulation in the space. So seeing regulation like this is something that we do need. And I also think it's a merit to the industry that we've managed to grow it so big that they have to make this take so much focus and time to look at the industry and see its problems, see its flaws, and see how they can regulate it. Yes, they're being really, really strict in the US on cryptocurrency right now, but I think that shows the size that we've got. We're not going away. They know that, and they know they have to kind of try and put a lid on it in some way until they can fully understand it and kind of decide where they can navigate the space. But I think it was going to come sooner rather than later for the US. And it was bound to happen at some point. I think that's the comments there.
It was inevitable.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the next article here and see what else is going on. Crypto Bro said, what is Web3 Spud's real name? It's Spud. It's just Spud. That's on his
It's
best.
born the spud.
Let's take a look here to see what's going on with CZ and Binance. In the last couple of days, we've seen Binance be charged with a $4 billion fine with a B from the Department of Justice, basically regulators in the US. The Binance have said that the conclusion from this is that Binance have not been misappropriating funds. They've not done anything wrong in that case. It's just that they've not been following AML regulation closely enough. CZ has said he will plead guilty to that. He's facing up to 18 months in prison. But it seems that the whole cryptocurrency space is kind of clapping him on his way down. Like you've served the industry great. Thank you very much for everything you've done. Unfortunately, it has come to an end here. It's very sad to see him go. He has led the space and pushed the space forwards massively. But it's nice to see the community kind of come together and not just attack this guy, because I think it's very hard to be managing a company like this. And to start a Binance off from when Binance launched, that was like right at the start of cryptocurrency, and make this massive business is incredible.
I think it's truly, admirable how CZ has handled this situation. He even said, he hasn't had a day off in 6 years now. Whether he will actually have a day off or he's just saying that to the regulators, I wonder what his participation will be like. I was actually shocked to learn that he actually still holds on to 80% of Binance, which is incredible for a company of that size. Normally, it's hard to still have the majority, the 51%. So for him to own 80%, it makes sense that the US are trying to keep him in the States, because rightly so, he could probably form his own army and nation with the amount of funds he has. So I think the way CZ has handled it all is very admirable.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think what's happening here is he is a majority shareholder. He is going to stay a majority shareholder. He is going to be a consultant with the company, but we're not, it seems at this point in time, not going to see any changes when it comes to the users end for Binance. They've got in a new guy that's going to be the new CEO. He was working in Binance already. He's got a brilliant track record. His CV looks very, very impressive, and CZ is going to be consulting him as the new CEO. So I really don't think, from what we've seen so far, there are going to be many changes for Binance, the end user. It's just that we're not going to see CZ tweeting the number 4 every time there's some problems. Or maybe we will. Maybe he'll just carry on as he was.
I think it's more of a thing now than it was before. So
yeah,
keep it going. Will you be touching the smart chain? Will you be touching BNB? That's the question. There's a lot of volatility around BNB right now.
We did discuss this on yesterday's stream, because it looked pretty interesting yesterday. If the exchange is going to continue as it was with this new CEO that we so far should believe is perfectly capable of running this exchange, why should BNB continue to suffer from this? Yeah. I think it's interesting. I don't know. What do you think?
I said yesterday that I would not touch it with a barge pole, and then I've woken up this morning and I'm tempted.
Yeah, I mean, last bull market, what did it get to? It got to 685. It's now at 234.
Yeah.
That volatility, that was crazy, first of all.
Chat, let us know if you're going to be trading BNB anytime soon. Let us know if you touch it. Let us know if you're going to be leaving it alone, and set some price predictions in the chat for us.
Crypto Bro says long BNB 100x. That's the only way. I've still not made my mind up on this. It's an interesting opportunity. We've seen FTT be so volatile as well in the last couple of days. Slightly off topic. That has gone to the upside.
Crazy,
massively.
huh? Any degens that were trading FTT in the chat? Let us know.
That was also something that I was staying far away from. But I think I want to be a little bit more of a degen this bull market. I think I've been too safe in the bear market. I think Spud, you're a little bit more degen than me. You take lots of big risks, but they seem to be honestly, if you want some degen plays, join Discord with Crypto Saving Experts and see what's going on in there, because we've got some serious traders in there that trade Bitcoin pretty profitably, pretty consistently, discussing their trades there. And then we've got all the degen plays that are pretty exciting, pretty fun. Obviously, if you are,
it keeps us on our toes for sure. So any of you in the chat right now, any of you listening, come join CSC Plus Discord. We've got some serious traders in there. reach out to me either on Twitter or through Crypto Saving Expert if you want some more details as well. We're a strong, tight-knit group, and we're looking to expand with other traders because we are stronger together. If we can go marching into this next bull run in a nice, strong group, we've always got eyes on the market. More gains to come. So I can see Bruce is buying more BNB. Crypto Bro is long. James, I bought BNB at $4.31. Wow.
That is very impressive. I think if you want to, what I was going to say was, if you want to join Crypto Saving Experts Plus Discord group, you need to go to cryptosavingexpert.com, join CSC Plus, sign up here, and then you get access to the community Discord as a Community Plus member and as a premium member.
We do have some special codes out as well at the moment. So we have, I believe, 40% off community annual and 60% off premium annual, and that will last till tomorrow. So get on it quickly, guys.
Oh yeah, Black Friday tomorrow, isn't it? Black Friday
Exactly.
deals. Make sure to use Black Friday to improve your cryptocurrency knowledge. Somebody said in the chat, thoughts on Gala. Let's take a look at the chart for Gala quickly here. It's been terrible, as they all have been. Any particular thoughts on this?
No, not particularly. I haven't. To tell the truth, I was once a holder of Gala, but
Me too.
I have not had a look since.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I think, it's clearly got a level of resistance that it's, in fact, maybe it's not managed to break through that. Yeah, I'm keeping a close eye on these because there's so many tokens that have already broken out, and there's still some tokens that have not. And
that's a nice 2x, isn't it, from there? Brilliant. Yeah, lovely. Yeah. I can see Crypto Kian has just mentioned a exclusive offer we have at the moment through Crypto Saving Expert as well, which is a $50 risk-free trade via Foxify. There's only 10 spots available, so you've got to be really quick. I doubt there's even 10 spots now because we put the tweet out, so very limited space. You get a $50 trade. You can put a 50x long on that. So what's that? $2,500 trade for free, risk-free. If you win, you keep the profit. If you lose, Foxify will refund you. So let us know, guys.
I might take advantage of that. It sounds quite a good deal. Let's take a look here. Good morning, Alex Bell. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please don't forget also on today's stream to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. Also, we have obviously a new guest here. If you are just tuning in, this is Spud. He has been a member of Crypto Saving Expert, not a member, a colleague actually, at Crypto Saving Expert, an expert for the last 2 years, working behind the scenes, making it the successful company that it is and will continue to be. So make sure to welcome Spud in the chat, hit the like button, and support us by going to cryptosavingexpert.com and joining in and learning about the cryptocurrency space. Let's take a look at what's going on in the news, though. Let's move on to the next story here. We have Coinbase working on the best online platforms payments, according to the CEO. So right now, when we make payments online, it can be a little bit slow. But what Coinbase are looking to do is to massively improve that. Now, we already have. Do you remember what the payment portal is called? It's like Stripe, but crypto version from Coinbase. It's like Coinbase Commerce, is it?
Coinbase Commerce, yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
It worked very well. I've actually used it for a few online purchases, and then. Unfortunately, I believe it was maybe 2 months ago. I believe even Crypto Saving Expert, we were using it for our merch store. And then unfortunately, more regulation came in. So I think they're just changing, abiding by regulation, and then hopefully it will come back because it was so easy. I was buying something from the States. I was based in the UK at the time, buying something from the States. Went to click on it, obviously, was paying in dollars. So for someone who holds GBP in their bank accounts, there was already going to be a transaction, fee through the bank, etc. However, I actually paid with my MetaMask, with Polygon, really, really easy, really simple, click, 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 approve, done. And it really opened up my eyes to how easy Web3 payments can be. And it's definitely something that's, we're going to see more of. And I think, for the crypto natives like ourselves, Jess, I think how it is, using MetaMask is easy. However, to kind of onboard the masses there, I think what we're going to see is kind of backdoor solutions where, you know, the user won't really realize that they're using blockchain technology to pay for things, and that's where it will go, I believe.
Yeah, I think there's a real importance here right now at this point in the markets to start focusing more on how we can get people to use cryptocurrency and blockchain without having to actually like clarify that sometimes people just shy away from the term. There's just not enough kind of integration between Web3 and Web2. We don't
Yeah.
have that those kind of platforms that allow people to transition from one to the other, and showing people that Coinbase commerce is so easy, I think is a really good step just to help people get into the space and learn a little bit more. We've also seen from Coinbase, they've created a layer 2 solution for Ethereum called Base. When it first launched, there were loads of meme coin rug pulls on there, but it seems to have calmed down slightly, and they are looking to use that platform to help Coinbase commerce improve their transaction speeds, transaction fees, and basically just kind of that Coinbase are taking on a lot at the moment. Coinbase have also been listed as the, what's the term for the Bitcoin ETFs? The custody for the Bitcoin ETFs, basically.
Yes, yeah, that was very important. It shows the trust the US government have with Coinbase. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll find out, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, just we've got good morning from Robert James. He has sold his Aave at $90 just before it went to 400. Unlucky with that one. And we also have Jerome. Jerome's always in the chat. Big up, Jerome. We do have another question regarding PIF. I know that's been very in the news recently with the airdrops going on there. Did not receive myself.
No, I didn't. Let's go back to the news. I don't have any comments on that. Let's go back to the news. And so Coinbase leading the space with the custody of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, with trying to create Coinbase Commerce, trying to create layer 2 solutions for Ethereum, really pushing things forwards. They've been a big advocate for cryptocurrency regulation in the space. For me, though, I don't know what it is, but it just... I like how they make cryptocurrency investments simple for first-time users, but it just still strikes me as kind of like that beginner platform. They haven't expanded to be an appropriate platform for traders, like traders day to day. But maybe that's why everybody likes them so much when it comes to custody and all of that kind of stuff. It's anti-degen as a cryptocurrency exchange.
Yeah. It's it's your granddad's favorite exchange.
Yeah. Maybe that's how they've managed to score all the success within the last year or so. Let's run through these kind of articles, not too much detail in these ones. KyberSwap suffers attack resulting in $47 million stolen. So this is a decentralized exchange aggregator, and they've suffered a significant exploit there. Another one to add to the list for the cryptocurrency space. But as I always say, when we see these exploits, we learn from them and we build from them. And that is just something that we're going to get in an industry that is new. We can't get all the gains with the 100x gains because we're in a new industry, and not expect to see these losses as well. It is completely normal for a new industry. We have also got crypto exchange HTX and its Heco Bridge lose $68 million to hackers. The exact same comments on that. Copy and paste those over. And the final one is bankrupt Genesis has sued Gemini for $689 million.
I think the Ross twins just wanted to come back into the limelight. I think, you got CZ and Brian Armstrong taking all the limelight. They wanted to come back into it. So.
Potentially. What the background story for this is, Genesis is a company who were basically getting loans from Gemini, and in return they were paying Gemini interest, and Gemini was giving Genesis user funds and paying their users the interest from it. That's how people were staking in Gemini cryptocurrency exchange. So users were getting interest from it. It was great. Genesis were being able to loan the money from Gemini. It was great. And then Genesis filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Gemini wanted their funds back to give to their users. And then it was kind of like a public battle there. Lots of open letters on Twitter over the last year from Gemini, from Genesis, trying to sort this out. And now we're seeing another twist in the story. So the bankrupt entity claims Gemini transferred $689 million in preferential transfers and is seeking the legal route to correct what it believes to be an unlawful action. So we'll see how this plays out. Back in the headlines once again, but we'll see how that plays out. It's a pretty interesting case that. I do believe that the users that were staking got their funds back, but I'm not 100% certain on that. Do you know the answer to that question?
No, not sure on that one.
No,
I will
I'm
find
going
out
to take a
though.
look at that.
Yeah.
Let's go back to, well, what other stories have we got? Oh yeah, let's move on to this one, then we'll talk about Bitcoin. John Main says in the chat, how can I access the CSE Discord? To join CSE Discord, all you need to do is go to cryptosavingexpert.com. At the top of the webpage, we've got this big join CSE Plus button, and when you click it, you get welcomed by this lovely video of me. And if you go to the bottom, you can see all of the different tiers to be a Crypto Saving Expert member. If you are a Community Plus member or a premium member, you get access to the community Discord where we talk about everything crypto. TMG talks about his trades. We talk about what's the next sector pump might be. Lord Spud has just put some discount codes there in the chat. BF60 for 60% off the premium membership. Is that correct?
That's it. Yeah, correct.
And then BF40 off the Community Plus membership. So make sure to use that. Take advantage of the Black Friday deals there before they go out. And I believe they finish tomorrow.
Yeah, jump on those quick, guys, because we're not going to have that kind of discount going again. So perhaps maybe next year, but you can't wait for that. You know, Bitcoin could be at $1 million by next year. So make sure to jump on the Discord. We also have some money making schemes for our members that are going to be dropping real soon. Aside from crypto, funnily enough, so you've got to join the Discord. You'll find out what that is. But we're very confident that it's an investment in yourselves, and you'll make back that money from joining our Discord. So we look forward to you guys joining.
Yeah, and before we move on to Bitcoin analysis, altcoin analysis, drop anything in the chat that you want us to discuss today. I want to share with you Crypto Saving Experts merch store because we have some big Black Friday discounts on here. I don't think that Martini guy is going to let us have these discounts for much longer because these Bitcoin neon lights normally go for £100 and they're currently there for £60. And he was saying they are very, very cheap there. So I think this is going to be a short-term sale. Make sure to take advantage of it before we move those prices back up again. Also, we have the thermal cups from the Crypto Saving Expert merch store. I use mine every single day. And we have some wax melts available on the shop as well. So make sure to check all of them out. But let's take a look at the price of Bitcoin. That's what we're all here for. Going back to what we said this morning, not this morning, at the start of today's stream, on the weekly chart, you can see this zone, which is the blue zone here, has been used as a level of resistance and support numerous times in the previous couple of years in the bull market and on the way down at the start of the bear market. And that is the zone that we are now facing. And I think that is why we have seen so much resistance here. If we move on to the daily chart, you can see we've attacked this so many times and we have just not been successful. We've seen loads of excitement around the spot Bitcoin ETFs. We've seen loads of excitement about the Bitcoin halving being just around the corner. But we have this level of resistance that is incredibly hard to break through. And as we've been saying on the channel here, the sideways action is staying around because the Bitcoin halving is just not close enough yet. But what do you think about this? We've got the Bitcoin halving in April. What are your expectations for the next couple of months?
I think we're gonna see a decent uptrend. Targets for me would be 45, 50, somewhere around that region, and then I think we're going to see some serious volatility. In the month lead up to the halving, we're going to see some big candles, and it's difficult. I think to really understand the halvings, you have to look at the previous halvings and look at the results and what happened there and form it, take in what's going on in the macro and within the crypto sphere and make your assessments there. Unfortunately for me, I feel like it changes, weekly. My opinion on the halving in October was different to it is now. So I think that's why it is important to, stay up to date, watch streams, learn more and just keep tweaking. But yeah, look, this is absolutely perfect chart to look at. So we have the first halving all the way back in 2012, a lovely uptick after that, and then you go to the second halving in 2016. Bitcoin was almost a household name by this point. It does seem a long time ago, but I think, you know, a lot of us had actually at least heard of Bitcoin by that point. And you can see how it reacted there. And then you go to the third halving in 2020, which, you know, it was for sure a household name after the 2018 bull run and the likes of that.
Yeah, I think with these halvings, everything's speculation right now, but I'm a big believer of the 4-year cycles and looking at timeframes rather than looking at price points. I don't kind of look at the next bull market and go, oh, we're going to hit X price by the end of the next bull market. That's just not my style. I like to look at the timeframes and see how long we've got for the run up, and then just kind of see where the prices go in that period of time. But we can see here when it comes to timeframes that the lowest point of the bear market to the Bitcoin halvings seem to be around 550 to 500 days. So you can see here it was 546. On the next one, we're looking at around 518. And if we take the low that we saw at $16,000, that is about 540 days prior to the Bitcoin halving. So it does line up this time. Things are starting to look in sync as they typically do. And with that, I personally like to trade with the trends, not against the trends. The trend is your friend until the end. If the trend hasn't broken, why try and trade against it? We are moving to the upside right now. If you look really closely on the Bitcoin halvings, it tends to be a bearish period of time very shortly, a couple of weeks there. We may see a little bit of bearish price movement just because there's so much speculation around those Bitcoin halvings. But overall, when you zoom out, there seems to have been a positive effect over and over again from these Bitcoin halvings. So we can only speculate that we could see something similar this time around. Let's see what's going on here. PG says, are there live meeting gatherings within the Discord group? If so, how many monthly? Are they focused sessions, discussions on new alt potentials? We have I mean, you might want to take this one.
Yeah, I'll take this one. So we have weekly AMAs for our CSE Plus Discord. This is where you can join, you can turn your camera on and you can speak as well. So it's more like a classroom, basically. We take, I will send out a form. I'll ask for any topic discussions you want raised, any questions that, may take some research. I'll research that before the call, then come to the call. We'll have an open discussion. You guys know TMG, obviously, he's on our calls as well. It's really cool to have Jordan one-on-one, pick his brains, pick our brains, pick Jess's brains. And we like to pick your brains as well. We've got some seriously clever traders within the CSE Plus Discord that we all learn from. So the AMAs are, I think we're posting feedback. We had our weekly AMA yesterday, and we were talking about real world assets and some low cap altcoins. I won't mention them here. You'll have to join the CSE Plus Discord. The one we mentioned 2 weeks ago on the AMA was a real world asset, and that has 2x since. I'm up nicely on my investment, and that actually came from someone within the community as well. So we are, all stronger together. We do the research together. We answer the questions as a group. So we're just kind of forming this alliance to go into the bull market with stronger together, and we're all going to make some good money, hopefully.
Yeah, it's really enjoyable just to be a part of that community and see what's going on. And at this point in the markets as well, everybody that's in the market, Jerome says, also idiots like me. We're all learning from each other. And at this point in the markets, people have been here now. Typically, the majority of us have been around for the entire bear market. So we've all kind of built that knowledge there as well. If you haven't, or if you have, it's great to just be a part of that community and learn from each other, because we've all picked up different skills around the way. The industry is so big, so we can all take such different perspectives on it. So it's nice to kind of come together and draw some nice conclusions as a group there.
And we don't offer trading tips, we don't offer trading advice, but what we do is we show our trades. So if there's a certain trader out of the group that you like following, here, post his trade. I've just gone long, I've just gone short. You can follow along and use that, to form your own decisions there, which is really helpful.
Yeah, I really, really do. I really enjoy being part of the Crypto Saving Expert Discord. So make sure to check that out. In terms of the Bitcoin price, though, let's go back to this, and then I think we can close off today's stream. What we've seen here is we are still. I'm wondering myself personally. I woke up this morning and I had another look at the chart. I'm wondering how strong this channel still is. If we get rid of all of these lines, because we don't really need these so much anymore. First of all, this one that's going across here. Let's change the color out. This yellow one here was used as a level of resistance a couple of times, and now it's been used as a level of support. So maybe that's something that we could be looking at. But when it comes to the channel that we were in, that we were paying very close attention to, this was very profitable to trade over and over again. I'm not sure how strong this resistance is anymore. I'm not sure if it's time to move on from this level of resistance and move for something else. We've seen multiple times we've gone through this, but it has all been on the back of news. And I always say, if a news story comes out and there's a sharp price action, that's irrelevant to the level of support and resistance.
Yeah.
That just shows no signs of weakness for the level of support and resistance. So I'm really torn on this as to whether to keep this level of resistance on my chart or not. What do you think?
No, I think what you said there was really useful, actually. Just like you say, if it's related to the news, it's not because of the support and resistance, is it? So for in this case, keep them.
Yeah, because all of these short movements have been off the back of some news in some way, another. The pump yesterday was off the back of the commissioner from the SEC saying spot Bitcoin ETFs. She doesn't understand why they are being rejected. And now we are seeing some sideways action. We're at that strong level of resistance. I would love to see us come back down and retest this level of support. I just don't know how many opportunities we're going to get, because it's been quite good swing trading this within the last couple of weeks, but I don't see us getting as many opportunities as we all hope. Bitcoin's not that kind to us.
No, I've been trading Ethereum myself, and then yesterday that had some good growth when Bitcoin was a little bit stagnant. But like I say, I actually was expecting a slight dump on it, but as we can see here, it's broken out.
Yeah, I was looking to trade the daily chart here at around, I think it was on this pump here. And I was looking at it and I was saying, like, the potential of this, it's a massive channel. We've had a confirmation bounce to that level of previous resistance, which is down at 1,894. We've seen just the breakout there, confirmation bounce. That's what we like to see. But then all of this news that's going on with the whole cryptocurrency market's kind of messed up that play a little bit. I'm still interested in it, but I think it's too big of a time frame to use like leverage and any of that kind of stuff. On the smaller time frames, though, we are starting to see some more patterns being created. You can see here, we had a level of resistance there, I would say. What have we got here? We could draw across there as well. So let's get rid of that one for now. You can see we are starting to see some more patterns here. But I'm always cautious with Ethereum because you need to measure Bitcoin, then Ethereum. And then if Bitcoin messes up, your Ethereum messes up. And then if you want to do the altcoins, you have to do all three. And it's a messy game, but it's a fun one to play.
It is messy for sure. I do use Bitcoin dominance as well. In that, and I feel like sometimes I can grasp Ethereum well, but Bitcoin dominance, super great chart to look at.
Yeah, and I think also important Ethereum BTC as well.
One that often gets neglected.
Yeah, we are looking like we are potentially seeing a double bottom here on the daily chart, but we haven't seen that nice bounce that I was kind of expecting and hoping for. With Ethereum breaking up to the upside of that channel, and with this looking like it was getting a double bottom, I thought this was like something was going to play out nice this week. But we're already at Thursday and we've not really seen anything yet. So I'm being cautious about that, and I always get a little bit more cautious when it gets to Thursday, Friday, because over the weekend, saying that, over the weekend has been pretty volatile within the last couple of weeks, but typically it's not that volatile. We also are going to be watching out for the Bitcoin CME chart as well. We look at this every single week. We do not have any CME gaps to be concerned about, except that $20,000 one down there from back in March.
Where do you think that Bitcoin will open the CME gap this Friday then? And chat, we want predictions in the chat. So let us know where you think Bitcoin will open the CME gap on Friday.
Price in about 36 hours time. What's the price of Bitcoin? I'm cautious, right?
You think it's going to drop slightly, don't you? As you mentioned just now.
I think
you're not wrong. I think we see the CME gap open 36,800, somewhere around that mark.
36,800. I agree. I don't think that. Yeah, that's.
What do you think? Let us know, chat.
Similar to where James says 37,200.
Yeah,
Let's move it.
strong shout.
37,200. Staying around here, potentially. I mean, we've seen before that we can just stay around this zone for a pretty long period of time without having much movement, trying to decide whether that resistance is going to break. I just think unless we see some big news or big like changes now in the markets, it's already Thursday. So
yeah,
that's really important. That's something I really ignored when I first got into crypto, but the day of the week changes the reaction Bitcoin's going to have.
yeah.
I think what we should look at is what was I going to look at then? It was something to do with the Bitcoin CME chart. With the CME chart last weekend, we did close it when we had that sharp dip to the downside at the start of the week. Yeah, I think that's all we have for today's stream.
Yeah.
Unless you've got something else to discuss. Have we got anyone in the chat with anything they'd like to discuss? Can you pay in crypto for CSE Plus? Yes, we accept Solana Pay. Spud says. I didn't even know that. So make sure. Jerome says $37,400. Potentially,
Nice.
Bitcoin's at an interesting level, isn't it? It's very hard to determine here. I think I'm in denial that this was. I know the resistance is strong. I just don't want it to be. But if I was looking with no bias whatsoever, we're at resistance. So that's my opinion on that. But we will see. But that's all we have for today's stream. So thank you very much for tuning in. As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, comment down below on today's video, like, and we will have more of Spud very, very soon towards the end of next week. We'll also be taking these streams on solo. So make sure to be tuning in every single day and support him through that. And we will be back here tomorrow with another cryptocurrency news update. So we will see you then. Thank you and goodbye.
Bye.